Good evening, gentlemen. As you can see, I have not yet begun moving my projects back into the uh, old computer room. But this adventure with this disc that Jove sent me has brought to the forefront of my mind the fact that I really need to put together a machine just to deal with imaging various media. And I'm going to just do that. Oop, step on stuff. So there are some requirements for this machine. First of all, it needs to be old enough to run DOS because there are some imaging tools that only work right under DOS with direct access to the drive controller hardware. The second uh, requirement is that it needs to be able to run a new enough release of Linux fast enough to support the network block device driver so that I can access those drives from my main Dev1 machine over the network when I am imaging stuff that isn't copy protected and doesn't require um, direct access to the uh, the floppy drive controller. Um, and so this will require a very particular age of machine. I think I might try to use this one. This was my dad's computer before he croaked, or what's left of it. I salvaged the optical drive out of it and removed the hardware or hard drive to get some farm data off of it. But I can't remember what this is. I think it's a K6 machine, an AMD K6. It's it doesn't have any ISA slots, which is a little bit unfortunate. Otherwise, it would be really easy to put more than two floppy drives in it. It's got one uh, floppy interface and two parallel ATA interfaces. It's getting dark in here and I'm having trouble seeing. It does not have SATA, which is somewhat unfortunate because I would like to be able to use a Blu-ray drive to rip things, but we can probably add that in with a PCI card, assuming it will run a new enough version of Linux to support the card. I don't know how much RAM it's got in it. I think it uses SD RAM. I can't remember exactly what this thing is, but so the deal is I want to have a 1.44 megabyte 3.5 inch drive, which this has in it, um, and with that I can image and write both 1.44 megabyte discs and 720K discs. They work fine in a high density drive like that. I have three 5.25 inch slots there in the top of the machine, and I want them to contain the optical drive, a 1.2 megabyte floppy drive, a 5.25 inch drive, and a 360K 5.25 inch drive. But the question then becomes, well, Lee, you said it's only got one floppy drive controller in it. How are you going to connect three drives? Well, uh, PC floppy drives almost follow the Shugart standard. The original standards actually supported four drives, and I don't think the PC does this weird thing with two motor control signals and a twist in the cable, as you've probably noticed. It's in the older with the Shugart drives, like were used in the TRS-80. There's only one motor control signal, so when it spins up one drive, it spins up all of the spindles and all of your floppy drives. And then there are four different select lines to select which drive you want to access, and you have to jumper each floppy drive to a different drive ID. And the PC, every drive, if they're still Shugart drives, but they're jumper to ID1, and then there's a twist in the end of the cable that swaps the motor control and drive select signal. So the thing is, though, I think I can make a board, since it's just those two signals. I think I can make a board that plugs into the floppy connectors on the cable, or that the floppy ribbon cable just plugs into. And I can put like a rotary switch on it, or a header that leads to a rotary switch that I'll mount on the front panel somewhere, to allow you to select how those motor control and drive select signals from the cable, those two signals from that cable, are routed to the different drives. So you'd still only be able to use two drives at a time, even if you had four drives in the machine. But you'd still be able to have four drives in the machine. And I can't think of any instances where I would actually want to use more than two drives at the same time in a imaging machine like this. In an old machine with no hard drive, yeah, I can see some instances where you might want to do that. But as far as like just imaging disks and writing floppies to use in other machines, I don't think it's a big deal. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to try to do, I think. I don't know if I've got everything that I need to do that. But oh yeah, we were talking about four drives, so I only talked about three. But I want to run a ribbon cable out the ass into the machine to an 8-inch drive. I have a double-sided 8-inch drive in that Tektronix PDP-11 that's broken, that I think I can take out and use to image and write 8-inch floppies for the Model 2 and whatever other esoteric 8-inch equipment I end up with at some point in the future. So that'll be good too. And it's great, big, and fun. Because bigger is better, right? It's not the size that matters, they say. But anyway, yeah, that's the plan. So sorry, Jove, I'm gonna get your disc imaged one of these days. I'm just, oh, I'm afraid. Okay, I'm afraid that the media will be like flaking off of the disc or something, and I might only get one chance to image it. And I'm pretty sure it's just a common version of Dan Lawrence's D&D, and that's no big deal. If there are copies of that floating around, it wouldn't be something that would be lost forever. I am curious to see what's in the player file, but just in case it is something special, I want to do it right the first time, man. So the Tandy 1000EX is a machine, the only machine that I have that I know works that has a 5 1/4-inch PC floppy drive in it, and it is in that pile over there, which is very difficult to get to. It doesn't have, it's only got one drive, so I don't know what I'd image the thing to. I do have an XTCF card, a hard drive type controller, just use the CF card instead of a physical IDE drive. Well, I guess a CF card's a physical thing too, isn't it? Instead of a mechanical IDE drive, I should say. But it's in this area somewhere. I had it out of my HX because I was farting around with it in that Heathkit XT, and when I cleaned out the old computer room in here to redo all that shelving and stuff, I put it here somewhere in some of this stuff. And the plan was to sort all of this stuff as it gets moved back in there. But I have looked in the very limited daylight that I have in the evenings when I get home. There's no electricity in this room, see, in this shack. And I haven't found it yet. So if I do find that before I finish this project, then we'll image the disk onto that CF card and copy it onto the real computer and look at it. But otherwise, I'm going to test out that thing here at some point. But not this evening, much to your dismay, Mr. Jove. I'm going to investigate some of the character files. Dan Lawrence's D&D, I think. But that video probably won't actually get done till later. So, there's my boring video for today. I'd better edit this and cut a bunch of shit out. All right, bye.